My name is Stuart Buzinski. 13 years ago, my wife Susan and I started a charity called Project Love. To date, we've trained 40,000 teens to build a culture of kindness and respect wherever they go. While we trained these American teens, we noticed something very special, that their values were similar, that despite their differences, they really were the same. If this is true with American teens, it must also be true with all Americans. Maybe we're divided only in our perceptions. We wanted to find out if this was true, and so Susan and I and our son Stephen packed up our car to travel across the country to search for the values in America that unite us. Not the red, not the blue, but a blend of both. And that's how Purple America was born. We started out in New York, where in 1953 my parents Ida and Stanley, that's my mother Ida on the screen, both immigrants from Poland, came along with my brother Ed by boat to the United States. My father told me that as they passed the Statue of Liberty, he told Ed what this country stands for. He said that America stands for freedom and opportunity and safety, that they would never ever have to go to another country again. Traveling down the streets of New York, where the pace is so much faster than Cleveland, where I live, we wondered, are the people here really like us? I decided to approach people in different areas. Stephen manned the extra camera. Susan offered advice. Our daughter Sarah wanted no part of it. My first interview was at LaGuardia Airport. You know, what comes to mind when you think of Americans in terms of the values that connect us and kind of what connects us from our hearts as Americans?
Well, I think the American values are, number one, in terms of the hardworking individuals, a very excellent ethical compass, if you will. They're compassionate people. We have a tremendous, I think, value system in terms of the way we are, you know, through our generosity, how we contribute to a number of causes. We have a certain innocence about us still that is, I think, very refreshing and something that we should cherish. And I think overall, we're a very unique people.
A friend of mine hooked us up with the Rescue Workers Detox Project, co-founded by Tom Cruise. Jim Woodworth, the director, moved to New York after 9/11 so that he and others could help rescue workers who were contaminated by the debris from the collapse of the Twin Towers to detox and regain their lives. We asked Jim and some of the recovering fire rescue workers their take on America and our values.
It's a land that was founded on freedom, fairness, equality, understanding, education, and I think, you know, here we are a few hundred years down our historical track, America is, and I think that those core values, you know, have maintained.
I was one of the guys that worked continually till the whole project was shut down. I was there every third day. And the response from the public was amazing, because everybody would, as we were riding in the fire truck or as we were leaving, they were constantly standing on the side of the road cheering us, and people from everywhere.
What would you say are the values that we share as Americans?
That's a hard one. I would say compassion, hard work. Everybody still wants to come here, right? That's why we're having an immigration problem right now. Yeah, so this is the place to be.
I felt that people at Ground Zero, adjacent to the Rescue Workers Project, would be willing to talk. So if you could rattle off the majority values, what would they be?
Family, faith, honesty, just in good living and taking care of one another.
I think the sense of freedom in this country is amazing, and I think despite the fact that India is a large democracy, I would say that freedom is still not as really available to what it is when compared to freedom in the US. And I think the sense of the sense of belonging and the sense of diversity is what brings this nation together. Especially having seen people in New York, I think that's what brings this country together.
There seems to be a lot of turning away from the principles that this country was founded on, Christian principles.
Okay.
Founded by Christian founding fathers, and whoever this being we all honor and worship has to be one that says you embrace everyone, you love your neighbor, as corny as that sounds.
Adjacent to Ground Zero is Wall Street, represented in the movie Wall Street as a bastion of greed. I wondered, was this really true?
It's funny you mentioned the movie Wall Street. I played the role of Charlie Sheen's broker in the movie, so if you guys get a chance to look at it, you might recognize me. I'm in about 5 or 6 scenes. Well, I think the values here in New York is the same as they are throughout the country, and that is a sense of responsibility, a sense of caring about each other, especially here in New York in light of the events that occurred some years ago. You know, the values of pulling together and supporting each other, especially in a time of need. But I don't think that's exclusive to New York. I think it's a part of the value structure all over the country.
Stephen discovered that at Times Square, where the ball drops every New Year's Eve, there's a naked cowboy. He wanted us to interview him, but by the time we got there, he had gone home for the day. But his counterpart, the naked cowgirl, was there, and she was more than willing to talk.
American values?
Yeah.
I think it's different for everybody, but I think the basis is in kindness. I think Americans do have good hearts. Whether they become greedy and choose to go off of that path, it's still their genuine intention.
Values is money, struggle, from where I'm from.
Yeah? Can you expand on that?
No money, you ain't about nothing here in America. So however you gotta get it, you gotta get it. That's
Okay, does that mean that, you know, you could be honest or dishonest as long as you get
Well, we try to be honest, but it's like not a lot of opportunities are open. So we go the route that we know. You know, my people, dishonesty, you know what I'm saying? The hustle.
The government is dishonest, so why not we can be dishonest too, right?
So you think that Americans share dishonesty together in the interest of business? Is that it?
Definitely. And those who are honest are people like us, people that don't have much. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I disagree. I came from an extremely poor family in the low-income housing of Pompano Beach, Florida. We lived in low-income housing all my life. Those were the values that were instilled in me. And so I completely disagree.
Yeah, so you were instilled with the value of
integrity, honesty, hard work, opportunity, and family and community.
I guess it was gotta go for family values, you know. I mean, everybody goes to work and do what they have to do to go back home and share the time with their family.
From Times Square, we went to New York University to interview students and parkgoers.
Family and the drive to achieve the American dream, which is being educated and accepting all different cultures that have assimilated into what we call the melting pot, which is America.
Yeah, I came because I realized that America is a place where everybody comes to, you know, achieve their dreams. So I came here to achieve my dreams.
I think as Americans we share this country. We live together in this one place, and we have a freedom to say what we want to, and there's nothing restricted about it. I think that's what makes the United States what it is.
Some people suggest that I drop into a beauty salon in each city. Hairdressers, they said, know a lot about what's on people's minds. But what do you see as the common things that, like, your customers talk about, and their hopes and dreams, or their values, or how they raise their families, or whatever?
Yeah, mostly they talk about their families, their kids. They want their kids to grow up in, you know, in certain manners.
How do they want their kids to be?
You know, successful, smart, idealistic.
Along the way, I met a delivery man and a cab driver, and I got their take on American values.
Well, American values, that's you don't really know. There's no such thing as American values. What it is the values of the rich or the power and ruling class that they call American values that's trying to be imposed on everybody else. But basically, my message would be to your students or whatever, try to be honest, try to be moral, try to have a conscience about the other guy next to you and back of you, and try to look out for those who can't do as well as you can and try to help somebody. That's it. That's my values. I don't know what else to say.
Americans respect Americans. I don't think Americans respect other people. That's what I think. There's got to be an example. Somebody's got to set the example. And you know, once somebody sets the example, then the other person's going to be more conscious about it, and you know, it's going to keep on going.
I think we have much to be desired. I don't think we're as nice as we can be and should be. I think for coming from New York, I definitely think we have a ways to go to improve our level of kindness and openness and warm, welcoming. I think we have a ways to go. I know that's one of the values that we aspire to. I don't know if we're there yet.
And outside of Yankee Stadium, Yankee fans and foes alike gave me their take on America.
People watching out for people, that's the most important value in the United States.
Do you think the people actually do?
I think so. I think you've seen it on September 11th, and I think we see it every day, whether it's hometown America or New York City.
What do you think the values are that Americans stand for?
Freedom of speech, freedom to do what you please, freedom to respect the next person as you would like them to respect you.
Once we stand together, we have it all.
That's our Purple America report from the Big Apple. The New Yorkers we talked with spoke about freedom, family, taking care of one another, achieving their dreams, kindness, hard work, respect, honesty, and faith. Not a whole lot different than the common values Susan and I have observed in teens trained by Project Love. And even the few who saw America differently still aspired to those values themselves and were able to express their opinions freely. But you reach your own conclusions. Are we really divided, or are we united in our outlook on life? Thanks for watching. I'm Stuart Musinski, on the road in Purple America.